Ali, 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 yeah. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7. I praise Allah for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank Allah for His blessings. Ali was the circle 7.
Islam, can you hear me, sister?
Clear as a bell. Gratitude.
Gratitude. Islamism. Islam, Moorish America. Let us rise upon the 7 and give all praises to the great God, Allah, Father God, Allah, and honors to His holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution, and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our Holy Prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you to another Grand Moorish Perspectives, and I'm your host, instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Al-Mohadi Shabazz. My ancient Comedian high name being the same as Dr. Shedawal Minti El-Muhajjid Shebsuel. And I have a grand drawing to bring to you, Moorish kin, indeed, and want to give honors to all of our Moors who are tuned in, and all of those who are to tune in. So praise be to Allah for you all, and gratitude. And let me open up this special drawing as we do. As we open up the hearts and minds of our people, we ask that you allow us to open up the way. Islam. Ya Allah abnu heru makuneteru. Ya Allah abhed heru. Ya Allah ma'at heru. Ya Allah hotep heru. Ya Allah heru. Ya Allah ma'at herakuti. Ya Allah ahwajeta juti. Ya Allah per im sutek per im heru. Ya Allah bamaduti. Allah Hajjat Shepsis Ray Abtu Ali. Amen. Halias. And that is the same Moorish kin in transliteration. O Allah, the Father of the universe. O Allah, the Father of love. O Allah, the Spirit of truth. O Allah, the Spirit of peace. O Allah, the Spirit of freedom. O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet. O Allah, Drew Ali. Amen. Islam, Moorish kin. And now we come forth before you with the divine constitution of Moorish America, salvation, our God, unity, 7 supreme constitutional acts of law. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the Chairman of Moorish America empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The assisting Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs, if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The bylaws, subhanAllah. The assisting Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all. The assisting Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The bylaws. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh. On a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you're part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. And now that this meeting has been opened according to the triune acts, Acts 1, 2, and 3 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we say Islam, Islam, Islamism. Providence of Allah is ever all his works. He ruleth and directeth with infinite wisdom. He hath instituted laws for the government of the world. He hath wonderfully varied them in all beings, and each by his nature, conforming to his will. Shemotepu Moorish King. Peace and love.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Gratitude to our National Assistant Grand Chief for opening up the way according to law. I am the National Grand Secretary of the state of Indiana, Dr. Sai Anatinu Petroruel, and we rise giving perfect praises to our Father God Allah and the highest honors to our Holy Prophet, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, Noble Drew Ali. Honors to our theocratic Moorish American government. Honors to our Grand National Seal, our Grand National Emblem, and our Grand National Flag, the Moorish flag. Honors to our Divine Constitution and bylaws, our Royal Consul, our secretaries, and honors to all of you for being here in this Moorish Perspectives class. Islam, Islam, Islam. Chapter 54, Holy Instructions from the Prophet Charity. Happy is the man who hath sown in his breast the seeds of benevolence. The produce thereof shall be charity and love. From the fountain of his heart shall rise rivers of goodness, and the streams shall overflow for the benefit of mankind. He assisteth the poor in their trouble. He rejoiceth in furthering the prosperity of all men. He censureth not his neighbor. He believeth not the tales of envy and malevolence, neither repeateth he their slanders. He giveth the injuries of men, he wipeth them from his remembrance. Revenge and malice have no place in his heart. For evil he returneth not evil. He hateth not even his enemies, but requiteth their injustice with a friendly abomination. The grief and anxieties of men excite his compassion. He endeavoreth to alleviate the weight of their misfortunes, and the pleasure of success rewardeth his labors. He calmeth their fury, he healeth the quarrels of angry men, and preventeth the mischief of strife and animosity. He promoteth in his neighborhood peace and goodwill, and his name is repeated with praise and benediction. Islam, Islam, Islam. Today is September 23rd, 2023, and welcome to another Moorish Perspectives class. Our host instructor is our National Assistant Grand Chief, Dr. Shadwa Minty and Muhajir Shepsuel, with our chapter of the week being Chapter 54, Holy Instructions from the Prophet Charity. Our subject title or topic will be coming from Ayat 1. Happy is the Moorish American national who hath sown in his breast the seeds of benevolence. The produce thereof shall be charity and love. Gratitude again to our National Assistant Grand Chief for opening up the way according to law, and gratitude to the National Grand Secretary of the state of Indiana, Dr. Sai Anatinu for taking registration and also reading the chapter of the week. At this time, we'll call to the floor our National Assistant Grand Chief, Dr. Shadwa Minty and Muhajir Shepsuel. Islam, Grand Man.
Islam, Goddess and Queen. Can you hear me?
Clear as a bell. Gratitude.
Gratitude. Islam, 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 Moorish America. Want to rise upon the seven, give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution, and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our holy prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome our family to another Moorish Perspectives. And I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Amohadi Shabazz El. And my ancient Comedian high name being the same as Dr. Shadwa Minty El Muhajjed Shepsuel. And we most definitely have a powerful measure to bring forth to you, family. So we ask that our Moorish kin most definitely have their paper and pen on handy so that they can take note and also bring back their special portion, to uplift the nation. Want to give honors to our family checking in, Noble Brian, our beloved brother, Born Dog, brother Gabri Igaz up here. Honors to you, family, checking in from London. And honors to all of our family, all of those whom are yet to check in. And be sure to hit that like, share, and that subscribe so that we may be able to inform our brothers and sisters that we are on the manifest. We got a grand drawing to bring forth to our family tonight. Most powerful indeed. And we'll be coming from the holy instructions of the prophet dealing with charity. Mathenos lesson number 1 in reference to dealing with charity. And what we are basically doing is we're going to go into the aspects of charity, because some people may think that charity is something that you do just by means of going around and finding people that are poor and don't have things materially. That's a part of charity. But there's a greater degree of unfoldment that we deal with when we come to this concept of charity. Charity can be extended all the way back, to the time of ancient Kemet, if you will. This is the Maadic way of doing that which is about what is truth and that which is right. One of the measures that we find when it comes to dealing with the concept of charity is that charity can be a spoken word, because we know that spoken words can actually uplift people. Charity in the spoken word, or in the form of spoken word, can actually aid and assist one in a condition that they may be dealing with that we may not have a knowledge that they are dealing with. So what we do is give our people encouraging words to uplift them. We speak words of power to raise their consciousness. Some people like to use the term resurrect. We use the term in this modern term as exhume. We are here to exhume the consciousness of our people. And this means that we are raising them up so that they are whole and intact, mentally, physically, and spiritually. So we concern on all special levels, because we know they are at a need at all levels. But the greatest form of charity is to give them that wisdom, that knowledge, and that understanding by which they are able to change their own conditions, and that they can also continue this same process in what the prophet referred to as a Rotarian completion. That basically once you teach them, then they can teach someone else. The old saying, each one teach one, and even they may reach one. That's the vibration that we coming from. So charity is a very powerful measure, and I'm going to do a lot of screen sharing and so forth and so on to give our family some insight. Want to give honors to our beloved goddess and queen, Sayani, for reading our chapter of the week. Very powerful, very powerful. And if you look at the banner that's flowing across the bottom of the screen, it pretty much explains, the gist of what we're getting at. This chapter is dealing with exactly that. Because the first ayat, it says, happy is the man, but we use the term, Moorish American national to take this to a higher level, where we transcend, gender, so to speak, so that we know that this is applicable to our brothers and our sisters. Just as a man was able to represent a nation, in the ancient times, and he was called by a particular name, and then that nation was spoken after that expression, we can see the whole nation as being a representation of one who is able to be a protector and a provider, so forth and so on. But in this case, you can't have a protector and a provider if you don't have a family. If you don't have the family unity, what is there to protect? What is the need to provide if you don't have a family unit? You see? So happy is the Moorish American National, MAN, and we using that acronymically. MAN, happy is the Moorish American National, who have sown his or her breath, in his or her breast, seeds of benevolence, and the produce thereof shall be charity and love. This is powerful. Now it makes me think about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because he told the Moors, he said, we must learn to love instead of hate. This is a universal lesson, family. This ain't just a lesson from the Moors, for the Moors, and by the Moors, for the Moors. The whole world needs to learn to love instead of hate. No matter what your school of thought is, no matter what your ideology is, that's what your chief school of thought should be based upon. Loving instead of hate. Because we can build things with love. We can only tear things down with hate. You see, so this is what we talking about. So when we get into this aspect, in order for you to teach love from the degree of understanding that we come from, you got to be love. You see, in order to be love, you have to know what love look like, because you can't be what you don't know. You see? So we have to see some love in action. We have to see some truth, some peace, some freedom, some justice in action, you know, before we can really comprehend it. You see, and that's why in many times past, these attributes and characters, you know, basically were manifested in human form. Those who had a strong desire to love, those who had a strong desire to teach truth, those who had a strong desire to teach peace, freedom, and justice. You see, so we are talking about the personification of the principles. Because if the principles don't have a vessel or a conduit through which it is able to act, then how would you know that the principle is present? And this goes all the way back to ancient Kemet. It was the same way. You know, in fact, what we thought was a throne or a station of authority, all of this had to do with was really, you know, attributes of power, attributes of influence. You see? And they had to come through somebody. You see? So somebody got to demonstrate it. It's a job, but somebody got to do it. And so we are here in this era and time, not by chance. We got work to do, family. And it's based upon this same principle. We got to be charitable. I'm not talking about dressing up like a Muslim, putting a fez on like a Muslim, writing, you know, and marking your fez up, acting like a Muslim, putting Egypt on your fez, putting Muslim on your fez, putting Jerusalem on your fez, putting Mecca on your fez, putting Ali on your fez, putting Quran on your fez, and all of that type of demonstration, but you don't know nothing about any of those places. In fact, your heart is so far removed from that as the sun is from the moon. We ain't talking about that type of demonstration of charity. We know there are many people that would like to make you believe that they demonstrating charity. You know, when all actuality is a measure that's really dealing with somebody trying to fleece the people, so to speak, and make them believe that something is going on, so that they may be motivated to think that there's hope to change their condition, when in all actuality it's just another way of fleecing them and basically keeping them at bay from knowing themselves. Because if I can keep you from knowing who you are, if I can keep you from knowing yourself, you know, then I can keep you from knowing the divinity within you. I can keep you from knowing the God within you. See, they don't teach this in the mosque. They don't teach this in the synagogue. They don't teach this in worshipful temples and so forth and so on. What we're talking about is the reality and the totality of being the message that we bring, family. The whole world is waiting on us. When I say us, I'm not just speaking of those who are a part of my paradigm. I'm talking about those who don't know that they have a job to do. Those who don't know that they are destined to uplift a people. Those who don't know that they have been chosen and they are among the elect to guide our people. Those who have found their purpose. That's who I'm talking about. You see? So this is powerful, family. In fact, we have so many holy instructions that were given to us, even in the area of basically telling us, what the end result of teaching our people, would be. And it can't get no plainer than what it is that we have them now. So these are what we call the chapters that deal with social duty, family. Because man, again, is social by nature. He got to communicate with other people. We are dependent upon each other, whether we know it or not. You can look at it from every aspect that you can think of. And we are most definitely dependent upon each other. So we have a 12-step ladder that we was given, and we always talk about this. In fact, the 11th rung of the ladder has to do with what we call benevolence. And this is where we are told, teach him. And this is dealing with holy instructions, for our children even. Teach him diligence, and his wealth shall increase. Teach him benevolence, and his mind shall be exalted. Benevolence and charity is the same thing, family. No doubt. No doubt. Benevolence and charity is the same thing, and we're getting ready to prove that in a minute. So what I'm going to do, let me do this real quick. I'm going to get in here and I'm going to share some things. And I want you to follow me well, family, and also be ready to give your measure when I open up the floor. So let me get over here and I'm going to open this screen up and share it for you all. Remember, we must keep our hearts and minds pure with love. We already know the body is to be clean with water. But we got to keep our hearts and minds pure with love. So it all starts with the thought, family. Let me share this real quick. Make sure I got it over here so y'all all can see this. Okay, yeah, we good right there. That's what we talking about. So yeah, just going back to briefly revisit our chapter on charity. And I would like to ask our family, as I ask all the time, who would be in opposition to this? Because, you got a lot of people that like to criticize and critique the Moorish Holy Quran and have never read it. Who would be upset with instructions or teaching our people? Who is it among our people that believe that they shouldn't be taught, what charity is? Ask yourself that question. Who among our people has an opinion that, teaching our people how to be charitable amongst each other is bad for them? Who is there amongst us that would think that? And if you don't think like that, and that it's all right for us to demonstrate a charitable thought, charitable deeds, whether mentally, physically, or spiritually, then this measure is for you. You can get something from it. You ain't got to be a Moorish American Muslim by name to get this lesson and this blessing that we bring forth. So as we started off, remember, we're dealing with this first ayah. Happy is the man, i.e. Moorish American national, who has sown in his or her breast seeds of benevolence in their heart. That's what breast is. Don't get it twisted. In their hearts, seeds of benevolence, and produce thereof, right? And shall be charity and love. So we just talked about, what benevolence is. They even had benevolent societies that was established by people who wanted to break away from fraternal societies back in the day. There's a lot of wisdom to be learned from some of the benevolent society. In fact, for those who don't know, what you came to learn of is Black Wall Street, was actually established by a benevolent society, not a fraternal or Masonic society, but a benevolent society. People who had broke away from Western Freemasonry, so to speak, to do their own thing. And a lot of it had to do with insurance, where some of our people lacked insurance. And basically the lack thereof actually caused some of our people to try to create an alternative for that. And so, it was a group known as the Mosaic Templars of America. And unbeknownst to many, a lot of the affiliates of our holy prophet, a lot of the students of the prophet, so to speak, were part and partial of those particular bodies, because they had been around, a few years, before the prophet had come forth. But the Mosaic Templars was not a Masonic organization. It was a benevolent society, and brother Oscar the Priest and the brother Jesse Binger, were both working, with those particular groups. They would actually do lectures in their particular meeting places. For those who don't know Jesse Binger established the first, they would call it at that time Negro Bank, but he was, let's just say he was the first banker amongst our people to come up in Chicago during that era in time. And then you had the political machine known as the aldermen, which were really the eldermen, of that area. And it was through this same political machine, later on down the line, if we go in the lineage of, the policy that came through there, that even, who we call the prophet's president, brother Barack Obama, the Asiatic president, the prophet spoke of, and he prophesied when he said, if the European would be just, he'll have an Asiatic president. We use Asiatic for our people. And he said, if he would be just, he would also have an Asiatic vice president. At that time, Joe Biden was his vice president. So now Joe Biden, is president that came behind our holy prophet's prophecy of an Asiatic president, so to speak. But nevertheless, it was the brother Obama came through, the line of the alderman or alderman. That type of political backing is what he had at that particular time. On another level, when we go further into this special drawing, like I said, Oscar the Priest, who actually had an office on the first floor in the building of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Let me show you some of these people for our family that don't know who these people are, because they have some very strong background. Louis B. Anderson, all of those were present. This is the brother Jesse Binger right here. This is the brother. This is his bank. Okay, gratitude, brother. Let me I got to share my whole screen. I forgot. I'm just sharing the tab. Thank you, brother Marvin Evans Bay. Let me pull this up again. Okay. And I'm gonna just hit entire screen so that when I move, it's there. Okay, so yeah, let me pull this up. So yeah, this is our brother Jesse Binger here. Right here, family. And I'm gonna show you something in a minute for those who may not be knowledgeable. This is the brother. He was eventually persecuted. They even locked the brother up in the end. But he was definitely a force to be reckoned with at that time. And they had a lot of ties, family. That's the inside of the bank right there. 1921, January the 3rd. But Jesse Binger was most definitely one who was a part and partial of the movement of the prophet. So go and read about him. That's the book dealing with him. The rise and the fall of the first, as they like to call it, black banker. But in all actuality, he was the first Moorish banker. If we really want to go into this, what is our proof of this special drawing? How can we go into this and show you this? Well, all you have to do is do this right here. Let's go to the first. Well, hold up. We'll do it this way right here. Let's go to the first Moorish. Okay. Okay. Let's go to the first MST of A meeting. Convention. Y'all to see what we talking about. This is how Prophet Noble Drew Ali, how powerful he was during his time. He had a lot of politicians behind him. And so you just go in here and just simply put this up, and hopefully this will give me a good image of it. And if not, I know one of them will. And I want to show you that one right there. And it ain't got no good view on it. Let's see. Give you this right here. I'm trying to get it to where I can blow this up so that you can actually see it. Just bear with me. If not, I know exactly where I can go and grab the other. Let's see, because you might be able to. No, they ain't putting it up there. That's going to a group of Moors. I'm trying to find a specific picture right now. Okay, let's see right here. We might be able to get it off of this one right here. See if they let us get it there. Oh, that's kind of blurry too. So what I'm going to do it this way right here. This is the best way to go through it. A lot of these people, let me see here. Okay. We're going to go to my photos. And I actually have some better copies of it in here. So I scroll down here so you can see it. But yeah, that brother, Morris Ken, was very powerful. During his time, he had a lot of our people biking him. We don't bike each other like that nowadays. And he actually received a lot of his funding from, a brother that was actually tied to the street, so to speak. But he was a philanthropist, brother by the name of Mushmouth Johnson. And he was married to his sister. So when that brother died, a lot of his fortunes went to her in his estate. And so she basically put that money behind brother Jesse Binger, along with his knowledge. And he was able to use that knowledge to build, the banking system. Like I say, they started out with different aspects of dealing with insurance policies and so forth and so on. And then after that, they was able to build themselves up, into a bank. They actually had a movie that came out recently. I forgot the brother's name who played it, but it was a movie about a brother who played a banker. He learned everything about it. I forgot the name of that movie. It just came out a few years ago. It'll come back to me. But it was actually telling that a similar story, so to speak, on how a brother was able to go in there and receive similar persecution. A lot of that was based off of the same story. So if you were somebody that had knowledge and you was able to go in there and try to empower our people, especially economically, you was a threat. You was perceived as a threat, family. So basically, to be charitable in the eyes of the oppressor under oppression, that was a no-no. But like I say, Oscar the Priest, Louis B. Anderson, Jesse Binger, and a few more, Laura Moores, was right there with the prophet aiding and assisting. He even had certain people, that people would have considered, in the underworld that honored him. People like Al Capone and so forth and so on. To respect the prophet so much, he gave him a Cadillac because the prophet had a business and he was actually cleaning. Well, the Moors was cleaning. The prophet Noble Drew Ali had a cleaning service, and they used to clean Al Capone's mansion because he didn't trust the average NBC coming in there, in his environment. He honored the ways of the Moors. He honored, their mindset and so forth and so on. So give me 1 second. It should be one pulling up right now. I got so much in it. It's like my archives that I go to just right here because everything I demonstrate and teach is right here on my page on Facebook, Moorish Ken. A lot of it anyway, the main tenets of what it is that I'm bringing forth in support of what we already been teaching. So, the main aspect is getting us to understand what charity really is and what philanthropy is, but also being able to know that you can't give what you don't have, but yet you keep what you give away. So to become a hoarder, or somebody that have a whole lot of wealth, and they can flaunt the wealth, and they have this wealth displaying and as the young generation would call it, flexing with the wealth, and you doing all that, but yet not being able to uplift the people. It ain't a good thing. If the Most High give it to you in abundance, or if you're able to attain it through blessings in abundance, then it's your duty to do what you can to aid and assist fallen humanity with that special wealth, because that's the reason you was able to come into it. Although so most of our people, they think that, well, if I work harder, this is for me. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. I got mine, you get yours. That's not the way that we should be demonstrating as a people. But unfortunately, that's what they taught them. That's that Hollywood mindset, right? That's that Hollywood mindset that many of our people fall into. And they forget where they come from. And therefore, our people continue to suffer. Like I tell people all the time, it really ain't a lack of finances that we suffer from. It's a lack of unity. And until we come together in that unity and really begin to build with each other and uplift each other, we will always have this conflict, so to speak. We will always be in a situation where our people in disarray, because you're going to have those who are chasing crumbs from master's table, and they become so preoccupied with that to where you end up running nowhere fast, basically. You look like you're running. Y'all seen that little hamster in the wheel looking like he moving, little legs just be going, but ain't went nowhere when it's said and done. So we want to really start being able to be active and really do some movement. That's the grand draw, and that's the grand degree of elevation. Ooh, boy, I got a lot of records up in here. So if y'all ever want to come and get some Moorish archives, you can go right here to my page. I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. I'm almost there, though. Just give me a second. Unfortunately, I don't know why this thing don't move like it used to. I remember years ago when you would scroll up this page, you could scroll and scroll and scroll, and it would scroll real quick. But for some reason, they made the apparatus to now where you see it doing what it's doing, and you got to wait for all these tabs to open up. And I would think if you're going to advance it, you're going to make it better. But seemed like to me, they making it worse. I mean, I don't know, it could just be me, but to me personally, I think they making it worse by putting their hands on it. Give me 1 second here. Let's see here. Come on. Okay, I think I'm getting real close to them now. I know I usually have a couple of those posts in here because I would post them so that our family could see different people that was at that convention. I see the convention picture right there. Let me see here. Give me 1 second. Okay. How many times is so okay here? Matter of fact, since I'm here, I actually have a demonstration here in front of us. I was talking about the Mosaic Templars of America, and if you can look at it, you can see the similarity between their badge and the badge that the Moors wear in the MST of A. So you can see an influence. I even had a copy of their bylaws and so forth and so on. See, this is the brother Oscar the priest right here, and it's speaking of him in Birmingham, Alabama. Basically speaking, to them. This is the brother that was speaking, and he was actually speaking because it was a meeting that was held by the Ku Klux Klan. He was talking to the people about having race pride. And also him and Jesse Binger was supposed to be riding there at the same time on one occasion. So, okay. Almost there. Let's see here. Okay, not that one. Not that one. Well, I tell you, anytime you're looking for something, boy, it's hard to find normally. Try to get to it, straight to it.
Islam?
I can always do this too, because I know I got a good picture here. I'm trying to keep from having to go through the pages here. So I'm going to go into the book of Bible.
Islam?
Kevin got a copy of it there as well.
Unmuted. Islam.
Islam, brother, can you hear me?
I hear you, but online, I don't hear any audio.
Oh, it done kicked me off online?
I mean,
and the screen was frozen.
Well, you got video. Yep. Well, I got both of them on. So. Yes, sir.
It kicked me off on there. Yeah, as long as y'all in there, I'm good.
Gratitude.
Muted.
Let me see, can our family, can you hear me, Morris, Ken?
Islam.
Okay, there's something going on real quick here. Give me 1 second, Brother Marvin. That was okay, Brother Marvin. That was Bay. I'm trying to see if this gonna share for me.
It's on.
Okay, cause it ain't showing my screen right now. Yeah, it won't even let me put my background or my image up there. That's crazy. But I get it. I know how it go.
It's
We
on.
ain't got to tell, but we ain't got to say nothing about what Rome done built.
That's right.
Let me see something. You just let me know, good brother, if you can see my screen changing once I get it up here. Because I'm trying to pull up the book of fire right now. Okay, let me hit this. Okay. Can you see the screen sharing, Brother Marvin Evans Bay?
Yes, sir. It's loading a page right now.
Okay, okay,
That should pop up right now. It's okay. Yeah, you're in the Book of Fire.
okay. So you can see it now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Gratitude.
Gratitude.
So Islam, family. Okay, so let me go down here now, and I'm gonna go to that page real quick. That's crazy. It ain't even got my my backdrop I had up there.
Right.
Ain't got nothing up there. It's just straight blank. I ain't never had that to happen before. Y'all ain't never seen that happen before, have you, Brother Marvin Evans Bay?
No, sir.
Like we ain't gonna let him get to it. But I got to show you this right here because I want our people to be able to see it. Seems like every time lately now I've been having some problems with this apparatus being poked at. And I done cleaned it up. So it shouldn't be no big issue going on with it right now. Okay. Give me a second here. I'm almost there. Okay, here we go here. I think I might have just passed by it too. Okay, yeah. Well, I didn't go all the way into it, is what it is. Okay. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. Okay, so here we go. We down here in the area now. Okay. I know I'm close to it now. Okay, there we go. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Ooh, goodness gracious. There it go right there, family. We got it up here. And also, that is actually, in the PDF is 588, but it's actually on page 480 in the Exhuming of a Nation. But right here, if you look, and for those who don't know what this is the actual convention from 1928. And also for those who need the information, these are the only temples that the prophet actually established, that actually had charters with his signature on it. In fact, the chairman, in the history, was told to stand on the one in Temple 13, like he seen the prophet standing on it. We got that in the records. But anyway, right here is where you'll see it, right here next to the endurance inside. See right here, 7 p.m. session, the evening session, 1928. The welcome address to Honorable Lewis B. Anderson. You know, they actually have, I want to say apartment building or something like that in Chicago named after him, if I ain't mistaken. But you had the alderman of the second ward, then you had the Honorable David Daniel, pardon himself, M. Jackson, and then you had he was of the committee of the second ward in Illinois. Then you had a Commerce Commission. So at this time, Jesse Binger was actually a Commerce Commissioner. Right here, he was the president. You know, Binger State Bank as well. Then you had the Honorable Oscar DePriest, which I just showed you pictures of both of them, who was a Republican candidate for Congress at that time, and the Honorable Robert R. Jackson, alderman of the third ward. Like I told you, these were aldermen, but the word alderman comes from the word elderman. Also, the Honorable George W. Blackwell, state representative, Illinois legislator, and Richard A. Ross, master of the ceremonies. They were all present, you know, supporting the prophet, you know, at this convention that he had. So he had a lot of political clout, you know, at this particular time. We can show you pictures of all of these people, but we just showed you Jesse Binger and the brother. You know, I will show you this, though. We showed you Jesse Binger and we showed you Oscar DePriest. You know, some that you would often see around the prophet in a couple of different situations. So I'm going to go into this one right here real quick and show you this here, because all I got to do is put the prophet name up, and this picture right here pop up. This is a picture where he actually had a lot of people surrounding him. Some of these people were right there with him. It's this picture here. If you ever seen this picture of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and this is actually in our website, it's actually taking us back to our website, because I did put these in here. And that's the best place to go, because I put the best resolution I could find. So for those who don't know, that's Oscar DePriest right there. And that's the brother Lewis B. Anderson right there. And I want to say this is the brother Ross Bay or Daniel. I got to go back and look it up. But we do know this is your boy Aaron Payne right here. Attorney Aaron Payne, who was Joe Lewis's attorney. You see Prophet Noble Drew Ali sitting up here in the center here. So, you know, he had some influential people around him, so to speak, you know. And like I said, these were people that was actually under his leadership. You know, them was politicians, family. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in the time that he was on the manifest, was most definitely a move and a shaker. You know, minus doubt and contradiction. Can't nobody deny that. Let me share my screen one more time here so we can get further into some of the other information that I want to speak about, because we're talking about charity. Okay. And this is where I want to go first. I want to go to the dictionary of the Grand Quran. Let me make sure I'm sharing this first before I do that. That way our family can see what we're doing and they can follow along with us. Okay, Brother Marvin Edwards Bay, is this screen sharing right now, brother? Can you see it?
Yes, sir. I do.
Okay, gratitude, grand man. Okay, so we want to go into some words here. I get that one second. I want to start with this one first, though. So these are words from the Grand Quran, family, dealing with what they call zakah. If you know anything about Islam, one thing that all the Muslims and the Muslims, whichever term you want to use, we the Muslims, they the Muslims, but all of us all agree upon, you know, charity. You know, zakat is actually one of the 5 pillars, you know, in the Quran. You know, that's a basic tenet, regardless of what school of thought you have. We all honor that. Look at the definition that's being given here, right? Because, you know, people think it just means to give and that's it. But this is how deep it goes. Zakah. It means to grow. So if you think it just means charity and that's it, then you burn up from the start. It means to grow. It means be pure. It means and clean. So wait a minute. If you thinking about zakat and you think that this is just, giving charity, and you find out that it means to grow, then you find out that giving charity will cause you to grow and increase. What is being purified? Remember we was talking about purified, our hearts and minds with love. Well, you can't give a charitable thought if your mind is filled with hate. So you have to have a pure heart and a clean mind. You have to have a clear conscience, so to speak. So it means to purify. So these are the first words that are being demonstrated before you hear anything about charity or anything being given as the true root of this word, zakah. It means to purify. So the more you give, the more you keep, so to speak. You don't really get anything out of it, but the more you give, you actually keeping what you give away. This is a purification process. It purifies your heart from greed. It also purifies the heart again to be able to accept the love. It means to be righteous. Remember I said how this thing was connected to ma'at, truth and right? Also, it means to thrive. So therefore, once you are able to grow as a result of giving, become pure as a result of giving, purify and be righteous, you also begin to thrive as a result of giving. Prosper. So you become more prosperous as a result of what you give. Not by what you hoard up, not by how greedy you are and you want to keep everything to yourself. And like I said, this don't limit itself to just giving up one's physical wealth. That's a part of it, but it's a greater measure. It has to do with knowledge, information, and everything. Because our gross national product to us is wisdom. And so the more that we can give as a result of our wisdom, all of the information, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, we increase in character, so to speak. So this charity, or sadaqah, or zakat, is a part of character building. This helps you build a character. It says succeed, grow strong, improve. Zakat. Now it goes into purity, alms, and everybody know what alms is. Charity. Legal alms. Excellence. Right? A portion of one's wealth given in order to purify oneself. There it is. So you must give up a portion of your wealth in order to purify yourself. That's powerful. Piety. It is also a technical term of the Islamic law that means certain portion or amount of property that is given thereof as the due of Allah by his possession to the poor in order that the giver may purify himself. It says the payment of this religious due is obligatory, providing that the property is of a certain amount and has been in its possession for 1 lunar year. The portion to be given varies according to the nature and amount of the property. Now, how many Arabs you see over here giving to the Pope when it comes to our people? We see them opening up liquor stores and serving pork and brandy, but we ain't seen them give you none of that property that they got yet. Everything they done got over here is win. We ain't seen that yet. It says in coin, it is 1/40th thereof, i.e. 2.5%. And the word zakat is generally translated as an Islamic tax. Purified dues, poor due or poor rate or charity or alms. But in reality, none of them renders the full meaning of the term. Thus, it is reasonable to use the term as such. And this is what I try to tell people all the time. When people just try to, because you got to remember, in essence, Quran was revealed in the dialect of the great God, when it came to the Arabs, though it came through their Arabic language. So just because they understand Arabic don't mean they really understood the meaning, because the meanings are so expansive, to where you can choose one. Say if you were trying to transliterate, and either one of these terms would be all right based upon what you're trying to talk to the audience about. But really, it's an attempt to translate. So it ends up going into different areas. I love this dictionary because it takes you to everyone. It's actually based off the Grand Quran. It gives you all the places where it was meant in the different germinations of the words. Like here, Zakat, he was clean and pure. Then it says he purified, which is Yuzaki. So you see this word is still here, but the Zaki portion is connected to the Zaka portion. You see, he purifies again, Tuzaki, like Yuzaki, Tuzaki. You see? Then it states thou purified. So it has singular forms, plural forms, and so forth and so on. You zakuna. You see? You zakuna. They purify, right? Make no pretensions to purify of your souls. Justify not, do not praise yourself. And that was actually La Tuzaku or La Tuzaku. And this right here is actually Tazaku or Tazaka, which also means he purified. So no matter how you look at it, in most of these definitions, it's being dominated by the word purify, he purified, they purify, we purify. So in all actuality, it would have been safer for if one was translating something dealing with this word, it'd be translated purification as opposed to be saying charity. So we find out that charity purifies, one's conscience, heart, and the mind. Purification, purity, the poor tax, purifying alms. Zakiyan, most pure. Zakiyatan, pardon self, which is pure, innocent, in the purest, in the root with its above forms, has been used in the Holy Quran about 59 times. So it tells you how much this particular word has been used in its different variations and germination, so to speak, and sound shifting. So there's another drawing here. I'm going to go into the exegesis of the Grand Quran in a minute, and both of these are by the same author too, most of them. One was actually written by the husband and wife, but they was aiding and assisting each other. Another word that's used, a lot of people don't know that's connected to this, is the word sadaka. You will hear some people connect the word sadaka to charity. In other words, it deals with to be truthful, to be true, sincere. I got a friend, and I gave him the attribute Sadiq, because he's a true friend, so to speak. In fact, it's the brother that, y'all often hear me speak on his mother that was almost about to pass, and we was able to build, and put that love out there and raise the body to a higher tone, so to speak. But brother Sadiq. But Sada means to be truthful, true, sincere, speak the truth, establish or confirm the truth of what another has said, verify, keep faith, observe, a promise faithfully, fulfill, speak veraciously, hold anyone as trustworthy. So this is a form of charity, to also hold someone trustworthy. Sadika fil al-kitali, which means to fight gallantly. That's a form of charity. It don't necessarily mean you got to be beating somebody up, but just striving in the way of the truth. Sadaka, which means to give alms. There it is. Sadiqun, truth, veracity, sincerity, soundness, excellence in a variety of different objects. Salubrious, pardon self, and agreeable, favorable, interest, praise. So all of these are the characteristics that manifest. In other words, when you are truly demonstrating a purification process by giving charity, whether it be spoken word, being out of your wealth, out of what it is that you have to offer, this raises you to the degree of being one that is known as truthful or trustworthy. Just like Muhammad ibn Abdul was able to earn the name Al-Amin before he was even a prophet. He was known as Al-Amin, trustworthy. So this Sadiq is also one of the attributes of the great God Allah. Al-Sadiq or Sadiq, the truth. Allah is the truth, the truth. But anyway, Sadiqun, one who is true and sincere. And you often hear us say, when it comes to dealing with the 7 degrees of self-mastery, sincerity is the first degree, because it is. You see? So by the time we come up the ladder of benevolence and we come through that door of science and, returning to the self, we able to come now and go through these 7 degrees of self-mastery. One is now able to come through as the truthful. But anyway, it says, one who is true and sincere, one who speaks the truth, Sadiqa, perfect woman, Sadiqa, that would be the name of a woman. If you was complimenting a sister, you would say that she is Sadiqa. She is the perfect woman. Sadaqa, right? Saduqat. And then we have dowry, which is actually a form of what's being given to a woman, that most likely is a perfect woman that you took, in arms as your companion. And you give her dowry, so to speak, right? But anyway, Sadiq, a person who is trustworthy, sincere, and occupies a position above all other believers. He is in a way possessor of the spiritual capacities of a prophet, and to be followed as an example as a person of prophetic knowledge. Wait a minute. See, this is why I love the commentaries that they give, or they don't hold back. And you mean to tell me it's a Muslim talking about somebody can hold spiritual capacities of a prophet and be followed as an example of a prophet after Prophet Muhammad? See, that's what I'm talking about. I love it when you talk clean to me. You don't mind telling the truth. So if that's the case, then you already know they talking about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. You know what I mean? He definitely was one that was able to demonstrate as Sadiq. He gave our people a wealth of wisdom, and it's been 100 and some odd years since he left the manifest, and we still talking about it. That's one of the greatest honors you can have. That's how you ensure it to be immortalized. And many of us in this history that we demonstrate, long after we off the manifest, there will be those who will keep our alive and our names alive as well. So it says he is looked upon as the spiritual descendant of the prophet. He is always the Khalifa, a successor of the prophet. Lord of the plane of soul, Lord of the plane of things made manifest. Right? Reformer or sheikh. So you mean to tell me, in order for you to truly be a sheikh, you got to reach that degree. You got to purify your heart and your mind. You see? You got to purify your heart and your mind, family. And that word sheikh comes from shayyaka or shayyaku, which means power. Saving power, right? After the death of the prophets, their missions are carried out by Sadiqs. And that's all of us, basically, that's here doing it. As was Abu Bakr, Khadama, Sadiq. And y'all know that word Khadama, goes back to the word Kadim, the first. But anyway, strong, honorable footing, a footing of firmness, precedence of truthfulness, going forth with truth in words and deeds. That means that your words are in accordance with your actions, your ways, and your deeds, with complete sincerity, good deeds, having good result. Remember, we talk about one of the highest degrees of unfoldment one can obtain. They always talk about Muslim, they don't get into the mu'min and the mushinun. The mushinun is the highest degree of the 3-step ladder. Muslim is just the entry level. on that ladder. Muslim, is the same as what Mushinun basically is considered, a doer of good deeds, one who becomes the will of the great God Allah. You got to be doing good deeds if you're doing the will of Allah, right? But anyway, Sadika, it means to confirm, verify, to fulfill, to confirm the right as right and wrong, right? And as wrong, confirming, verification, fulfilling the previous scriptures, signify following. You see how long, it's why we say, it take many words to try to and attempt to explain what the great God Allah was meaning by one word. You can teach on one word. It's a vast ocean of knowledge in just one word, family. This ain't talking about the whole ayat. This is just a word. The prophecies which they contain about the coming of some of, the prophecies which they contain about the coming of some future prophet or reformer. That might have went over some of our people's head. I thought it wasn't supposed to be no prophet coming behind Prophet Muhammad. Nah, we have sources that prove that seal of the prophet simply means that he was authenticated. But there is room for what they call follower prophets. And it will be a prophet that actually honors him, honors Prophet Muhammad. And that's like our brother Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, we came to establish the faith of Muhammad. He wasn't talking about in this modern time. He was talking about the ancient Comedian way that we demonstrate that Muhammad himself had a knowledge of. Y'all done seen what I showed y'all, some of the Comedic knowledge that Muhammad had, speaking about Ra, Ra, and so forth and so on. Don't get me started. It says the teachings which they gave were true, and the claims of those books and prophets about their divine origin were true. When, however, the Holy Quran uses the word in the sense of confirming and fulfilling the prophecies contained in them, it is followed by the proposition of lamb, as in verse 2 and 14, Surah 2, Ayat 41, pardon, 7, not 14. Hence is the translation of conforming the prophecies of the scriptures which are already with you. So this is what a Sadiq do. Also, even in my attribute, Shahid is one who bears witness to the truth. So there's a connection between Sadiq and Shahid, witnesses. It said one day Allah will raise up witnesses from all people. That way nobody will be able to say they didn't know the truth. So this is the witness that will be confirming what you already know. Confirming what you already researching, what you studied, what was long awaited to come. All of us in that sense are the Shahid. All of us are the witnesses. You see? So Sadiqun, whatever is good are given rather and sanctified to God's service as alms. As-Sadiq, which means more true, Musadiq. Y'all see how far this thing go. One who verifies, confirms, or bear witness to truth. Sadak, Musadiq, Mutasadiq, one who gives alms, charity. And it goes on, he spoke the truth. Sadakat, she spoke the truth. Sadaku, they told the truth, proved truthful. Sadakta, and it's so many, I ain't even got to go there, but y'all get it, family. Sadiq means not only being true and sincere, but it also means to give alms. So just by having a good character, that's enough to give some charity. So when we go to the exegesis in the commentary, we got this in PDF form and the book form. We know our Moorish kin also have this. There are measures in the Quran where the great God Allah speaks on this charity. And the word that is being used here, is the same words, that we actually was able to see already. So it says, He the Almighty said, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. It says, He, the Almighty said, is for my punishment I inflict on whom I will. But my mercy embraces all things. So I will ordain it for those who guard against evil and spend in charity, and for those who believe in our messages. Right? This is one aspect where it mentions, you know, here's another drawing right here. See that right there? That's Surah 4, Ayat 49. Have you not considered those who assert themselves to be pure? Nay, Allah purifies whom He will. You know, and it's actually using them same words that we were speaking of. It says, whom He will, and they should not be treated unjustly, not even a whit. Behold, how they forge lies against Allah, and sufficient is that as a very flagrant sin to prove their sinfulness. Talking about deceptive ones. So, I mean, in this particular work, you'll see them use the word zakat as it relates to charity. And you can keep going through here. You see the same thing. Prayer, like charity, is as old as humanity. You know, it's showing the connection to that there extra charity in the month of fasting. You know, this is speaking on this is a drawing here that actually go a little deeper in depth. The subject of usury and interest is introduced as a continuation after mentioning charity, an economic system that is not based on interest and usury promises prosperity. So, you know, it don't supposed to be no type of usury or overcharging or, you know, even though we know the Arabs do that a lot to some of our people. But it says interest increases disparities in wealth and eventually leads to economic unrest. So a lot of time when you deal with a Muslim, if they want to call themselves that, you know, they automatically, you know, supposed to cut you a break based on the law, you know, of Islamism. Next time you run into one, make them stand on it. You see? So, let me go further. Here's the word again, sadiqat, and it goes deep into it. Y'all just seen me give you some of these definitions. But this is actually dealing with the actual surah in the ayat, surah 2, ayat 276, sadiqat. You see? And this is actually the word right here. This is the S in Arabic. It's al. That's the L. They actually al-sa. D. That's the D. Let me blow that up a little bit for those who may be familiar. See, that's the A, S, and that's a long A because we see the sakun right there and it stretches. So that's sa, D. That's D, sada. Hard self, not D because it's not beneath it. Sada, ka. You know, sada, ka. That's the Q. And that's the A on top of it. And then that's T and that's I. And they didn't even put the I there. It's just really sadakat. Sadakat. So it says sadakat is the plural form of sadaka. And it says meaning to remit in charity or forego. It is also the means to speak the truth or prove truth. We just went over that in the dictionary, right? Allah said Allah annuals usury, or knows usury, pardon self, and interest, and makes alms and charity grow. So basically, Allah is abrogating, you know, where the ones has the ability to try to use somebody, you know, and He's opening up the gateway of blessings through charity, causing it to grow. Just like the prophet said our nationality was going to grow in our pocket, our nationality card, right? But in it, he says, charity reflects the broad basis of human sympathy, whereas usury and interest annihilate all sympathetic affections. That's real. When somebody feel like you getting over them, you trying to use them, it causes problems. So Allah knows usury and promotes charity, right? Is to be read in connection with verses, or rather verse itself, 2 and 269. Prophet, peace be upon him, said, on the day of resurrection, Allah will ask, where are the things you gave to those who ask you in my name? And the servant will point to insignificant objects. Allah would then say, are you ashamed to appear before me with these valueless alms you gave? You knew you were going to appear before me. And then Allah would say, I have pardoned you because of a beggar's request and the joy you gave him. I made your arms grow. Allah would then show the alms given by the servant that have become larger than the Mount of Uhud. And that's one of the sacred mountains, in the teachings of Islam. So it's a whole bunch of ayats, family, that go into this same area telling us about, this charity, and how it's good to demonstrate the charity. This is another one here, Surah 4, Ayat 4, Sadukat, which is the dowers. And this one is actually dealing with, the measure dealing with the husband and the wife. And we spoke on this one earlier. This is also a form of charity here. Just being true, brothers. Dowers is the plural of Saduka, called because these are a symbol of truthfulness and sincerity on the part of the husband. That's a form of charity, being sincere to your goddess, being sincere to your wife, your queen, brothers. Sadaka means charity or alms. It is different from Sadukat, which is Taj, or Nila, means giving a thing willingly and cheerfully without expecting return. It is necessary that a dower should be given to every woman joined in marriage. Thus, every woman in Islam begins her married life as the full owner of some piece of property. The amount of the dower should be reasonable. It should also be within the means of the husband and proportionate to the socio-economic circumstances of the couple. So the great God Allah basically know what he do when he put this law out here. It don't get no more perfect. Here's another drawing here too, Surah 9, Ayat 53, which is the charity is for the sake of taqwa, piety, and iman, faith. There should not be any sense of compulsion behind it. The verse that follows explains further reason for the non-acceptance of charity in the cause of Allah. And this right here deals with 957, where it says the verse indicates that the innermost cause of all hypocrisy is fear. Fear of moral commitments and fear of an open breach with one's social environment. So yeah, these are some powerful drawings, family. So if you get your hands on this right here, you got to get it and do some research on it. Here's another in 30 and 38. Wherever the Holy Quran demands that we help the needy and the poor in the form of zakat, charity, a gift, or in any other way, it invariably uses the word ati instead of iti. The former word conveys the sense of presenting something as a gift, whereas the latter word expresses the sense of giving under some compulsion. See kashaf, to offer someone a gift safeguards the self-respect of the person who receives their help. Oh man, it goes on. The word hakahu, which you can see a connection to that, truth and right. Look, it says mean his due, his right. It says this embodies that the owner of wealth is not its absolute owner, but that someone other than him has contributed substantially to its production and acquisition. There are others who have some rights in wealth of the rich and share in it. When any help or charity is given, one should always have in mind that the provider is returning it to the one whom it belongs. So when you giving charity to somebody, it's for them anyway. It's meant for them anyway. It belongs to them anyway. So it goes into a couple of more definitions here. Belief in divine unity, Surah 41, 6-7, divine unity, charity for the needy, and belief in the hereafter, the three cardinal commandments of the Holy Quran. Conversely, a deliberate offense against any of these demands and amounts of denial of one's responsibility before Allah. We can go on and on and on and on about this demonstration, but everybody get it by now. So this brings us back to our Moorish Holy Quran. In this chapter, we should be able to see it in a better light now. Let me pull this up real quick. Hold up. Is it this one? Was it this one? Yeah, that's it right there. So now when you go here and you understand the concept of charity, we say, well, happy is the Moorish American national who has sown in his breast the seeds, his or her breast, the seeds of benevolence, and the produce thereof shall be charity and love. Now we see what he said when he said, keep your hearts and minds pure with love, pure with charity, pure with benevolence, pure with the ability to be able to give out of what you have. And watch what he said. Now watch how this corresponds with what we just read. From the fountain of his heart shall rise rivers of goodness, and the streams shall overflow for the benefit of mankind. This is the whole intent. So what you have in overflow is a blessing for those who don't have. They can be poor in spirit. If you got this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, you should be able to give from it to uplift them and enrich them with the wisdom that you have. You see what I'm saying? So it says, he assisted the poor in their trouble. He rejoiceth in furthering the prosperity of all men. There you go. We not just talking about assisting somebody poor, and not having wealth or riches. We're talking about those who need to be assisted, because they have a poor spirit when it comes to knowing who they are. Enrich them with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Enrich them, with confidence to be themselves as opposed to what somebody else told them they are. So it says, he censured not his neighbor, right? And he believed not in tales of envy and malevolence, pardon self. Neither repeated he their slanders. That's a form of charity too. High frequency. He forgiveth the injuries of men, he wipeth them from his remembrance. Revenge and malice have no place in his heart. That's a form of charity. When you let somebody have, you got it, brother. That's it. All right, all is well. When you learn how to gracefully bow out, that's a form of charity, family. For evil, he returned not evil. He hated not even his enemies, but requited their injustice with a friendly admonition. So if you demonstrate the opposite of hate, then it must be love then, right? Then it says, the griefs and anxieties of men excite his compassion. He endeavored to alleviate the weight of their misfortunes, and the pleasure of success rewarded his labor. So he receives pleasure when he is able to remove oppression, remove anxieties from others, when he's able to make others feel secure and, happy. Like the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, I'm happy when my Moors are happy. That's a form of charity, having that type of thought. Ayat 8, he calmeth the fury, he healeth the quarrels of angry men. That's a form of charity, to be a peacekeeper, a peacemaker. To try to, bring oneness to our people, to try to unite them. That's a form of charity, family. If you truthful, if you sincere, and prevented the mischiefs of strife and animosity. Somebody that's trying to keep the conflict down. That's a charitable individual. That's what you call real philanthropy, family. Benevolence. And last but not least, he promoted in his neighborhood peace and goodwill. That's what we're trying to demonstrate among our community right now, right? Peace and goodwill, right? That's what we're trying to teach our people, right? And his name is repeated with praise and benedictions. So that means people recognize the ways, acts, and deeds of a good brother, a good sister who demonstrating like this. So you mean to tell me that something wrong with giving our people this type of teaching? Huh? You mean to tell me that something is wrong? That means that you want to rob charity. If you would rob somebody of these holy instructions, these lessons, you are rob charity. You a thief. So we just give honors to these high lessons, man, because no truth contradicts another truth. The truth is the only thing that changes not. And we can find this same lesson, in the teaching of Buddhism, Hinduism, Islamism, Judaism. At the highest levels, we can find them in all of the books. The key is taking these things and being able to save oneself. So that being said, I just say gratitude, family, peace, love, and law at all costs. And at this time, what we're going to do, we're going to open up the floor for our family, so that we can give our family some good insight, and they can really learn from this stuff, and really be able to aid and assist and uplifting each other and fallen humanity. So at this time, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the floor to our family by calling on those who are present who would like to speak. Islam, Grand Man.
Yeah, Islam, National Sister Grand Sheik. Islam, Moorish America. Dr. Kepler, Nubus Rasul Bey, National Sister Grand Chairman of Moorish America, giving rise and praise to the great God Allah. And honors to our Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us everything that it takes to save us as a nation. Islam, we give honor to our grand national flag, emblem and seal, divine constitution of Moorish America. We give honor to our Moorish American government, swift angels, divine ministers, and citizens alike. We give honor to all those who are tuning in as we uplift fallen humanity. In Islam, we give honors to our host for the Moorish perspective, National Assistant Grand Sheik, Dr. Shadua Mehdi Muhammad Sepshuel. Islam, Grand Man, Grand Class, and just get right into it. As you were speaking, about charity, made me think about, when I make these, this lesson tonight, this grand measure, when I apply it to self, first thing I thought about, family, was, man is a seed of Allah and ordained to be a thinker and Lord of the plane of soul and Lord of the plane of things made manifest. We are the apex of the great God Allah's creation. So when we consider charity and we understand also this same, all these great attributes of the great God Allah is placed in the Moorish American National, because we know that man is a thinker and also man is able to return when she came to his higher self, that high vibrational thought activity, because this is how we are able to create. We're able to create our heaven here on the plane of things made manifest. We're also able to create and bring forth the attributes of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, brought forth, that's already in us, that 5-point open green star. So we understand that, yes, when we read chapter 1, that we fail. And we fail, because in our thought pattern. But all praise be to Allah when we talk about charity and man being a seed of Allah. Well, for himself, Allah lets us know in chapter 1 that, all is well. And that man, is not lost. We will regain our lost state. And see, so therefore, that hope being that beacon light, our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, because our prophet, he lets us know that who made us, Allah, the great God of the universe. So the charity of our prophet, the charity of the great God Allah, brought forth that love thought, that benevolence, that great edifice, our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, your host will return again. These same great prophets, the spirit, in this new era of time, the Aquarian age, for the Moorish American nationals here in Moorish America that has fallen into a Negro, black, colored, African American, and around this time of year, black American. So our prophet being the first bud to show the flower, he taught us everything he brought us everything that it takes to save it as a nation. So our prophet he was the first one to be happy. He was the one who came and sowed the seed of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. See, so that we can imitate the prophet. And then also, the seeds of benevolence, like you said, we can see everything that the prophet brought. You look at our state from our classes, our national conference calls, and then also our Grand National Seal and emblem, our flag, our divine constitution, and then the citizens right here on this Moorish Respected Call. And also our Moorish American government, our divine creed and nationality. Islamism is the divine creed, and Moorish American is our nationality. So we are able to be a product and be a composite of that charity and that love that you spoke about tonight. And our prophet, what has blessed me in this Moorish American government, knowing who made me, it has brought forth, our prophet says that he talks about that we ought to be we should have a Rotarian mindset. And that Rotarian mindset is what we're talking about, is to be a thinker and to create, like we talk about the banks in Oklahoma, economics. I heard you talk about the prophet having cleaning service. So this Rotarian mindset is for each and every one of us nationals, to be able to create and to establish, businesses, and be able also to establish, jobs and work, so that we can continue to build our nation, because our prophet lets us know it takes finances to uplift the nation. And he also said that a beggar nation can never attain to its highest degree of spirituality. So we have to understand that charity, builds up a nation. Charity is the love, the truth, peace, the freedom, and the justice. So I just give honors to the class and want to bring a brief measure, because our prophet brought us everything that it takes to save us as a nation. And when you're not thinking, somebody else will do it for you. And this is why we are here, imitating the prophet, being those buds to also show the flowers of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, showing the flowers that that man will regain his lost state, because the lost state is you. Before you even look at the ground, you are that lost state. You are that regained state above your neck, knowing that we can re-entry or be those prodigal sons and return back from which we came. And when we return, and then our intentions are, we clean up our thought pattern. Those intentions are pure in what we want to create. And then, therefore, that's what we talk about, nation building. And so I give honors to being the Moorish American Nationals. I give honors to being the seeker. I give honors to be able to speak, in my special government, with my special people, the Moorish American nation, Moorish American people. And it's an honor and a blessing. Stay motivated, stay strong. Long live Moorish America. Grand class, Dr. Shaheed.
Islam. And gratitude for the measure, brother. Praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism. All right. Is there any other more who would like to come forth and exercise their fire?
Islam,
Sister Curta Bay, what have you to say?
Islam, Dr. Dendra Curta Bay. First, let me rise and give praises to our great God Allah. I give honors to our holy prophet, Noble Joy Ali. I give honors to Act One. I give honors to all my government officials, and I give honors to you, National Sister Grand Sheik. Wow, for this powerful class tonight. I tell you, you really broke some things down for me. I got a whole page here, and I really learned a lot. But our subject is, happy is the Moorish American national who has sown in his/her breast the seeds of benevolence. The product thereof shall be charity and love. And I tell you, I just loved it when you was sharing with us how a lot of times we do get confused, and some Moors like to think that charity is just, going out on the streets and helping somebody who is on the streets and who may be no clothes and things like that. But you say charity can just be you speaking a kind word to someone. And that is so true and so powerful, because you don't never know what people are going through. But if you have a kind word or or some encouraging words to give them, that's charity there. And then you showed us, I loved it when you made it clear how you said benevolence and charity is the same thing. And sometimes we get that mixed up too. We want to separate that. And then you talked about zaka. I love that word for charity. Zaka, you say it means to grow, to purify, to be righteous, to thrive, excellence. Oh man, that's a new word for me. Gratitude, God, man, for all that you do. I love that. But you're showing us how, in order to demonstrate charity, you got to start with yourself. You got to be clean and righteous, and your heart has got to be pure. And oh man, this was so good, Dr. Shaheen. I'm definitely got to go back and listen to this playback. And then the brother you talked about, Jesse Binger, I had never heard of him. I'm definitely gonna look him up. And I don't know if he was a part of that. They say Black Wall Street, but we don't say black, but you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if he was a part of that during that time. I'm not for sure, but I'm definitely gonna look that up. And gratitude, God, man, for this powerful class. Gratitude for letting me share. Peace and love.
Yeah, gratitude for that measure. Yeah, he was actually, like I say, more affiliated with the Mosaic Templars, and he helped a lot of work. You had your Booker T. Washingtons and all of them. They was all part of that same group, and a lot of their work definitely came up out of that same thing, that benevolent society. But when you look at a lot of the symbolism, even in one of the first questionnaires, the one that I had one so old it was off of that old wax paper, like original questionnaire, and in the end of it, you will see it ended in 777 and 333. And you will see those same numbers demonstrated, in the symbolism of the Mosaic Templars, not to mention in the actual historical aspects of what they had as their rites or their rituals, because they had rites and rituals. They spoke of the Queen Candace in there that the prophet talked about in his literature. So it's a lot of things that I've seen, that most definitely tell me that, he most definitely was influenced by those brothers in the industrious acts they was demonstrating, so to speak. We wouldn't go so far as to say he was a part and partial, but a lot of the layout in the background, he definitely was around during some of the time when they was thriving, our holy prophet. So it definitely pays off to be able to know the history and go into the history, and it's a powerful demonstration. So gratitude, goddess. All right. Is there any other more who would like to come forth and give their measure? Islam, goddess and queen. What have you to say?
Gratitude, angel, gratitude. Islam Morishkin. I'm Divine Minister Dr. Lenore Fox Bay from the Georgia Territory. Once again, I rise, giving all praises to Allah, highest honors to our holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Honors to our Moorish American theocratic government. Honors to all of Afghanistan. Honors to everything Moorish. Honors to our Moorish perspectives this evening. Islam, Grand Class Dr. Shaheed. Praise Allah for this blessing this evening. I will never look at the word charity or the act of, being charitable or benevolent the same way, because you have shed so much light on the word. Praise Allah for the understanding. Islam. When you look at, the topic says, happy is the man, the Moorish American national who has sown in his breast the seed of benevolence. And that word zakat, that means to grow, to be pure, to be clean, to thrive, and obligatory. And then when we look at the word Siva in India, in the Indian language, you see that Siva is the Indian gift, meaning the most boundless degree of charity. And the seeds of benevolence are seeds of goodness and the essence of love and righteousness. And in the Quran of Mecca, Surah 51, Ayat 19 reads, and in their wealth and possession, parenthesis, was remembered the right of the needy, him who asked, and him who, for parenthesis, for some reason, was prevented from asking. And in the footnote 5001, I will read it in part, that true charity remembers not only those in need who ask, but also those who are prevented by some reason from asking. The man of true charity seeks out the latter. There may be various reasons which prevent a man from asking for help. One, he may be ashamed to ask, or his sense of honor may prevent him from asking. Two, he may be so engrossed in some great ideal that he may not think of asking. Three, he may even not know that he is in need, especially when he thinks of wealth and possessions in a spiritual sense, as including spiritual gifts and talents. And four, he may not know that you possess the things that can supply his need. And it goes on to say, charity is the higher sense. Charity in the higher sense includes all help, from one better endowed to one lesser well endowed. Islam. I just want to say gratitude, beloved, for this grand class, because you have opened up my eyes personally, because who knew that charity was so deep, and we know that when we are kind and caring and giving and thoughtful, whether you ask for something or someone asks you for something, or you just volunteer to give because the Spirit tells you to give, it is such a good feeling. It's a rewarding feeling. It's a spiritual experience, if you will. So praise the Lord for this class, grand man. Gratitude, Islam. Peace and love.
And gratitude and Islam and peace and love to you as well, Goddess and Queen, for that grand draw. And praise be to Allah, Islamism without the schism. All right. Is there any other more who would like to come to the manifest and exercise their five? Islam, grand man.
Islam, this is Dr. Batu Bay with the Iowa Territory. I'd like to rise and give our man of praise to Allah, honors to the Prophet. Understand the credit governmental council, our flag, seal, and our divine constitution, our Swift ages, Mufti, citizens alike. Understand all the Moors that spoke before me, the Moors that will speak after, and honor you for this class. And, that's part of the reason why, I love these teachings is that it's like we call it psychic self-defense. And it's a kung fu unto itself. And it's not about, like Bruce Lee said, it's not about your kung fu, it's about you. You know what I'm saying? The whole time. And when you're thinking about all these instructions, was it 21 instructions or 22 instructions that the Prophet brought? Holy instructions that he brought. That's giving you the instructions to overcome, your own inequities. And when you think about it, and that's all has to be applied first within before you put it without, like you said. And what's crazy is that if the world will see that when you aid and assist somebody else in their time of need,
that you are ultimately helping yourself, because that's that divine cord that runs through all life. The energy that runs through every single thing in the universe runs through every other single thing in the universe. So when you help somebody else, you help yourself. And in some form or fashion, this is going to sound a little, it's not as hard, as difficult as it sounds, but when I say this, I'm talking about how people I take it. But a lot of times, charity is also, if we could have them just get out the way, so we can do what we have to do. You know what I'm saying? And that would allow us and show us that we have the ability within ourselves to do what we have to do for the sake of us. You know, we did civilize the world once, we'll civilize it again. You know, so charity is a beautiful thing, and many forms that it comes in. So with that, leaves a couple pieces now.
Islamism. Gratitude, brother. Yeah, I think sometimes we be in our own way, grand man. And that's definitely one of the main problems. You know, so we just say gratitude for that special drawing Islamism without the schism. Well, all right. All right. Is there any other more who would like to come forth?
Islam,
Islamism without the schism.
gratitude. And this is Dr. Marvin Evans Bay out of the Texas Consulate, rising, giving all praise to the great God Allah, giving the highest honors to his prophet, our prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, El Haj Sharif Abdul Ali. Give high honors to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government. Give high honors to our Act 1. I give high honors to all of our officials. I give high honors to this class, our Moorish Perspectives class. So as I give honors to you, Dr. Shahid Armani, I'm going to hit Sepsuel. I'm mixing your name up right now. But our National Assistant Grand Sheikh for hosting and instructing this most powerful class, as well as I give honor to all those that aided in bringing forth this class this evening. I give honor to everything that is Moorish, our flag, our seal, our emblem, our divine constitution, our holy Quran, our book of Ali, our 101, 102s, our exhuming of a nation, all of our divine revelations I give honor. I give honor to the forerunner, Dr. Marcus Musa Garvey, as well as I give honor to the ancestors, whose shoulders we stand upon. We are the return of the ancient ones. And I just want to give you honors for this class. It's the most powerful class, talking about the zakat, you know what I mean, and zakat, you know, and you shed so much light or expounded on that term of charity, you know what I mean, to encompass so much more, you know, because, you know, in Islam, you know what I mean, zakat is a form of cleansing oneself. You know what I mean? We spoke of cleansing their wealth. Yeah, but and all of that is from the great God of Allah, because our true wealth is within. You know what I mean? And I say praise Allah, you know, and praise Allah for sending us a prophet to bring us to a level of comprehension, so that we can comprehend, you know, our vast estate. I mean, and that's what it's all about, being a part and parcel of this Moorish American government, bringing on the manifest love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And, you know, I just can't be grateful enough for being here, being amongst the masterminds, you know, those strong Moors that are willing to stand in the defense of truth. And I'm just so grateful for being here. Gratitude, God, man. You just said so much, and I would only bear witness. Gratitude.
Gratitude for that measure, brother. Marvin Nathaniel Evans, baby, we give honors to you, grand man, for all that you do and all that you will do. In the name of everything that our holy prophet drew. through you. Islam, grand man. Gratitude. All right. So
Islam,
Islam, Dr. Muhammad Bey, Islam.
gratitude, grand man. Oh my goodness. Islam, uh, people. This is Dr. Joe Hamid Muhammad Bey of the South Carolina Consulate. First, let me rise in praise of our Father God Allah, who is the best known arranger of all things. I want to give honors to his holy prophet, our holy prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who is the last prophet of this new era of time now. He is the divine manifestation in flesh, the seventh manifestation in divine flesh, the seventh angel. I want to give honors to our Moorish American nation, our Moorish American government. I want to give honors to our grand national seal, our grand national emblem, and our grand national flag. I want to give honors to everything Moorish. I want to give honors to you, National Assistant Grand Sheikh, for this grand, magnanimous demonstration that you presented tonight. Gratitude for all that you do, God, man. Being a living example of a Moorish American national. Grand presentation. As always, you cover a lot of ground. And, dealing with the topic, of tonight's class. Happy is the Moorish American national, man or woman, who have sown in his or her breast the seeds of benevolence. To produce thereof shall be charity and love. And I'm telling you, when you're dealing with zakah and sadaqah, like you said, grandman, they're one and the same thing when we actually really understand them. But I'm just going to share this, and that'll be my measure. What it caused me to reflect on is the last 5 lessons that we have had in our Moorish Holy Quran. And I'm just going to read a few ayahs from each chapter. We're starting with, when we go back, we're in chapter 53. And when we go back to chapter 50, the first ayat says, repine not, O man, at the state of servitude. It is the appointment of Allah and have many advantages. It removeth thee from cares and solicitudes in life. See, being a servant of humanity, that's charity. That's zakah. That's sadaqah. Most of all, that's love, charity and love. Moving on to the next chapter, chapter 51, magistrate and subject. When we go to ayat number 6, it says, this is the Moorish American National, he looketh among his people with discernment. He discovereth the abilities of men and employeth them according to their merits. These are acts of charity. These are acts of love. Because, see, an individual you can't even think like that unless you have this love in your heart, this need to be able to aid and assist, to be able to help give growth and development to your people and the nations of the earth. Moving on to chapter 52, holy instructions from the prophet on social duties. And in ayat 2, it says, it is thy duty, therefore, to be a friend to mankind, and it is in thy interest that man should be friendly to thee. See, this is the interchanging of the acts of love and charity that we must have amongst our people. That's the sadaqah, that's the zakah. And then we come to chapter number 53, when it talks about justice. Ayat 1, the peace of society dependeth on justice, and the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. See, a Moorish American national is one who cares. When you talk about justice, right, is the distribution of truth. And within that truth comes care, compassion, consideration, a need to aid and assist, as it says in our holy covenant, when the brother is in adversity, assist him. When thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. All this comes from the heart. Our number one principle that the prophet said we need to learn how to love instead of hate. So in reality, when we get to the heart and soul of what is called charity or zakah or sadaqah, as you stated in the very beginning, Grandman, it's on a whole higher level than just, you understand, someone like giving something. Because the greatest part of sadaqah, and charity is love. So that love comes from thought activity. And the thought activity is so powerful, right? That seed has unfolded to the point where now it comes to the plane of things made manifest in a living manifestation of words, actions, and deeds. Islam. It's a grand class. That's my part of the demonstration. It was grand class, grand man. As always. Islam. Peace and love. Thanks for letting me share.
And gratitude for that measure, Brother Muhammad Bey. Praise be to Allah. Grand drawing, grand man. Want to give honors to all of our Moorish kin for everything that they have contributed to tonight's Moorish perspectives. And it's a powerful measure, family. So we just say we love you with love and divinity. And at this time, we're going to go to Act 1. Starting with our Assistant Grand National Secretary of the State, Sister Alseta Moonel. Islam, you there, Goddess and Queen?
Islam.
Islamism.
And gratitude more. First, let me rise and give all praises to Allah, and now honors to our Prophet Nabi Ali, honors to our Moorish American government, our officials of our government, and our citizens. Honors to our Goddess and Queen, our National Grand Secretary of State of Indiana, Dr. Sai Natinu Heteru for taking registration and reading our subject chapter of the week. Honor to you, God man, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shadur Mehdi Al-Muhajir Shepsuel, for bringing forth a grand Moorish perspectives this evening. Honors to our Moorish king that brought forth their grand measures also of the understanding of the subject matter on the floor, dealing with charity. Happy is the man who had sown in his or her breast the seeds of benevolence. The produce thereof shall be charity and love. And the first thing I thought about when I was listening to the demonstration is sacrifice, sincerity, accountability. And you gave so much levels of charity that one's understanding, you made it as plain as day. So the understanding is easy for what charity and benevolence truly are. One and the same, even though it sounds different, and society teaches it different, Rome, as far as most science is concerned, and our ancient forefathers' divine history has proven it, they're the same because it's a whole nother level of understanding that comes along with it. So, benevolence. So to produce thereof, charity and love. Sincerity is a key element. Because if one is sincere, then one knows that truth is the only thing that people, when you come to them, they could see it in your face. They could see it in your body language. You could understand it through your vibrations. Some people could even see your aura and see. People seem to think because someone is a beggar in the street or a drunkard in the street that they don't have any sense. But that's farthest from the truth. Because it could out. My mother always taught me, be careful how you treat people, because you could be an angel in disguise. Now, as far as she learned, that was coming from Christianity in one aspect, but also coming from our divine ancient teachings also, because even though, and you taught on this a few moons ago, and most people don't even realize it, them Europeans, that is. Hallelujah is a Christian word. I mean, a African term, something from our ancient history that they have taken for themselves and grafted it to mean what they want it to mean, but it doesn't change the true essence of the word. So when one is giving charity and one is being sincere and is showing that love to humanity, that uplifting, that's what the prophet said, we here to uplift fallen humanity. And you show the different aspects of charity and benevolence in the giving of time, the giving of self, the giving of wisdom, the giving of love, not just the physical, but the spiritual, the uplifting of one's soul by giving them, cultivating them with truth. And so when I think about that, it leads me to think back on something that I experienced a long time ago, and I understood based on what was going on. I look back on it, hindsight, like we say, and I realized that that was a test for me. Are you really sincere? Do you really love humanity? And my son told me this a long time ago because he saw it. He said, Mommy, you can't save everybody. So he saw it. So children, even though you think they're young and they can't see and understand, they understand truly well what's going on. And so my uh my calling, my purpose, and our prophet knew exactly what he was doing when he chose each and every one of us from our family, because most of the time it's only one from each family that's given the path of divinity to uplift fallen humanity and to bring the truth to the world. Because the others, some of them ain't gonna stand because they're looking at the dollar bill as their only way of making it. The spirituality part they don't understand. But it's something I used to tell Shatat Ramunel a long time ago. And we used to go back and forth on it because he was coming from a street aspect as no man owes you anything. And I was always basing it on morals. You have a moral right, a moral um a moral what's the word? Obligation. That's the word, gratitude. Um to treat people and to do for others what you want for yourself. You always have to do the right thing. And we know sometimes you could be sincerely wrong, but Allah sees the heart. And that's important. The sincerity coming from the heart. Our prophet sees you, sees me, sees us. So he can always base it on what was the intent of thy actions. Was it sincere or was it for your own upliftment? And so this was a grand class more because it leads one to really study self. Why are you doing what you're doing? What is your purpose? Do you really understand what your purpose is? Do you really understand the divinity, the essence of who you are? And so this was a grand class, more grand demonstration. Praise the Lord for all the research and the homework that you do to bring forth these classes, because it demonstrates that's your purpose, to make sure that you back the prophet in the truth of everything that he has done for humanity and for us in establishing this whole theocratic Moorish American government on this manifest. Gratitude, more peace and love. Islamism.
Islamism and gratitude and peace and love, goddess and queen, for that draw. And yeah, you said it best. Especially when we point out the aspect, like you say, the great God Allah knows the sincerity. And a lot of times when it come down to dealing with, the work that we call to do, we have to look at it that way too, because there's gonna be a lot of things that people don't agree with about what's right for them. You know what I mean? And they may feel a certain type of way by the way you bring things to them when it comes to the truth. But the truth is the only thing that changes not. And if one is demonstrating the truth according to, the great God working through one, the great God already know the vibration that one is on, and everything else will be sorted out, later on, so to speak, for others to get if they didn't get it. But we give honors to you, goddess and queen, for that draw. Well, all right. Well, let us go to our National Grand Mufti, Dr. Khonshu Mark Herubey, Islam. You there, Grand Man?
Islam,
Islamism.
our religion, gratitude, great one. We rise first and foremost, giving all thanksgiving, adoration, worship, and praise to our Father God Allah, the great God of the universe, the most beneficent and the most wise. We give the highest honors that we can give to his prophet, our prophet, the last prophet in these days and in these times, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, the savior of humanity. We give honors to his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we give honors to his government, our government, the Moorish American government, the government in which we live, according to Act 6. We give honors to the officials of this said government, our divine ministers, swift angels, mufti, royal council, our secretaries. We give honors to our citizens, the Moorish Americans. We give honors to our flag, our divine constitution and bylaws, the Holy Quran, our Grand National Seal, Grand National Emblem, our Book of Fire, the Exhument of a Nation. We give honors to everything that is Moorish. We give a special high honor to you, that's the Grand Sheikh, Dr. Shadu and Miti Medjid Shepsuel, for bringing forth this grand Moorish perspective. And we give honors to all of our Moorish kin who have spoken before us. To our Moorish kin that will speak after us, we give honor to you, angels. We continue to give the honors where they're due and honoring all true and divine prophets. And yes, we give honor to our ancestors as they have come before us, leading the way, and we are them today without doubt or contradiction, because no one has the power to change man from his descent nature. And praise Allah for that. And it is a benevolent nature. And it's blessed that it brought forth a grand class this evening. And that's Sister Grand Sheikh, really putting in the forefront, the drawing and the understanding of the true nature of man, because God is benevolent. And we're looking at benevolence, and being akin to that one who is the benefactor, or the one who gives the benefits to the beneficiaries, in a nature that is kind and wise and divine. There's so much to be said about what can be done, and how that paying it forward, and how that honoring that which God has created, in a sense of extending one's hand in unity, or one's hand in sincere positive nature, with no harm in men, is something that it blesses us all, and it's very
enlightening or therapeutic way to be for the self. You know, because when you operate from a thought pattern of of just being your kind and benevolent self, as far as demonstrating the will to others, demonstrating the knowledge to others, giving ones, what they need freely. It takes the stress off of worrying about or having to consider how somebody else is acting. You get out of a reactionary mode and get into the mode of action, which we know the more the active and not passive. And so to be benevolent is an active thing. It is a thing that you have to and put intention to, put direction and energy into. It's not something that is reactionary per se, because it doesn't come from, what you receive from someone else. It comes from your own generosity. And I think as we, pick up these ways that demonstrate action, that demonstrate industriousness, as a prophet said, it demonstrates looking after all necessities of Moorish America in that benevolent way. It can't help but foster a positive thought pattern in the children and people who are experiencing a Moorish heritage and a paradigm right in front of their eyes, and that demonstration will continue to sow seeds of love in the hearts and minds of those who get to experience the true divinity that's within one, from a mode of God and man are one. And so we say that to say that, each and every one of us, Moorish American, that is part of what we're here to do. The will of God is peace on earth and goodwill towards men. And that goodwill, it has to be something that is sincerely done from a mode of action, not reaction, a mode of benevolence, and not a mode of expecting something in return from the benevolence or from being kind to someone who's already been that way to you. Just even trade, as you may say. So let us continue to get this wisdom that was passed down to us, so that we can come out of a programming that is detrimental to us as a people and into our true reality and way of life and what we're talking about, because this is truly what's going to bless us. So gratitude for the class and gratitude to you, Moorish America, for being here with us and giving us your time, attention, and respect. We love you. Islam and peace.
Islam, brother. And the love is mutual, grand man. Honor to you and the tribe. Praise be to Allah. Keep up the grand work. Well, all right. Well, at this time, let us call forth our Grand National Secretary of State, Sister Hatshepsut Rakat Ma'at and Pooh, to come and back. Islam, you there, Goddess Queen?
Islam, close to the thought. Gratitude.
Gratitude, Islamism.
Grand class, Dr. Shahid. Islam Moorish Ken, first of all, want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Moorish American government, all of our officials, staff, Swift angels, muftis, divine ministers, most especially our Moorish Ken. Giving honor to our family online, also giving honor to our panel, giving honor to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedu Amenti El Mahedid Shepsuel, for opening our meeting according to law. Also for hosting a Grand Moorish Perspectives class this evening. Giving honor to our National Grand Secretary, State of Indiana, Dr. Sayanati Nuheter Ruel, for taking registration and reading our subject chapter for the week. Giving honor to all of my Moorish kin that brought forth their special measures. Also honor to Act 1. Our subject matter coming from Ayat 1. Happy is the Moorish American national who has sown in his or her breast the seeds of benevolence. The produce thereof shall be charity and love. And I'll tell you, as my Moorish kin has stated, this has been a powerful class. Many of our Father's treasures have been brought forth, dealing with the subject of charity and gratitude for going into that Arabic dictionary, or dictionary of the Quran, with zakah. And I can remember prior to having knowledge of Prophet Noble Drew Ali and looking at the definition from a manifest perspective, where to give alms, or if there is a poor, what have you, but it put it on a manifest level. With these definitions brought forth today, it takes us to a level of dealing with purity and cleanliness. We see that as instructions within our divine constitution and bylaws, Act 7, being righteous. It also speaks about thriving. So in essence, we are demonstrating the level of growth and development to improve. And when you look at it from that aspect, as you stated, it's dealing with dealing with character building, how we are benefits when we aid and assist our brothers and sisters. And when you were reading the definition, and one of those that touched forth red flag was dealing with don't praise yourself to be pure and pious, because that opens up the door for vanity and ego. Look at me. See what I did. I gave this amount. I gave that. That nullifies the whole demonstration of benevolence. And just looking at the first ayat, the first word is happy. And as you stated, the prophet lets us know to be happy, you've got to be content. Being content, you are peaceful. You're in harmony. When we look at charity as continuing on, we know that our prophet has transitioned, but he's still working with us from the soul plane, but we are still carrying on our mission of divinity, and that is part of our duty. And looking at it as far as responsibility that we have to our Creator, as opposed to this is something that's just coming from me on an individual level. This is how we deal with being in the bands of society, or dealing with nation building. When I looked at that first side, and it spoke about happy is the man or Moorish American national who has sown in his breast the seeds of benevolence. So that means that there's some work to be done when it comes down to the self. So when you're sowing anything, when you're out there planting in a special garden, you got to make sure the seeds take root, make sure it has sun, water, etc. So this is what we have to do when it comes down to nurturing benevolence within our heart and mind. And once we do that, once we make it applicable to the self, then what we produce is charitable actions coming from thought pattern of benevolence. We also demonstrating actions of love, which is our first principle as well. So when we are able to stand on the truth, even a smile is a charitable act. When you come into a room, you automatically have an R. It should be one of goodness, peace, and happiness. When they see a Moorish American national, they should see one that's standing on the law, willing to aid and assist where needed, where necessary, not looking at, well, that job is beneath me. That's not how Moorish American national demonstrates. So when you look at benevolence, dealing with goodwill, philanthropy, having compassion, it also had in there open-handedness. So, we know the difference between having a closed mind where I got mine, I don't need to learn anything else. And when you're dealing with open-handedness, which we know the hand is symbolic of the mind, then that brings about that state of freedom and harmony. And dealing with that Rotarian complexion that the prophet spoke about, that's dealing with service to others, establishing businesses, aiding and assisting one another. That's still taking us back to
are here to be servants, not just to each other, but to humanity. So we are here to aid and assist, and in us maintaining our higher self, no matter what, recognizing that God and each other, then this is how we demonstrate charity as well. So gratitude more for calling me forth. It's been a grand class. Much peace and love to all my Moorish kids. Islam.
And Islamism Grand National Secretary of the State, for that grand measure brought forth from our Father's treasures. Indeed, a most powerful blessing and lesson, and that's right. We every time we get up here and we do this work, we definitely bringing charity to our people. It ain't strange that our Moorish kin been talking about the aura. I was on a panel like the other day, well, actually yesterday, of some family, and it was an Asian brother, present, and he started asking me questions. He was like, "Man, you got an aura around you," and they was like, "Man, this dude crazy," saying that to him, like, "Bro, what you see?" Well, I don't see nothing, you know what I mean? But the Asian brother say he seen an aura, and I say, well, it's a grand thing for brothers to be able to see beyond the manifest, Well, that's how we got to be able to look at each other, though. We got to be able to look at each other the same way. We see beyond the manifest, and we see the aura, of our essence, because that is when we get into the measure, we see that Allah speaks to man and through man, and this is what our prophet did for us. This is what we do for each other, and this is how we strengthen each other. This is the most charitable vibration that we can ever give to the people. This is what it means to support each other in our uplifting acts. We got to support each other in our uplifting acts just by uplifting each other. It's simple. It ain't got nothing to do with wrong, fiat, or none of that right there. It's just simply uplifting each other. So we give honors to you, and we want to uplift the tribe of endurance, and keep them uplifted, as we call forth our Grand National Chairman of Moorish America, Dr. Akin Pert M. Heru, Toot the Common Bay. We got him up there on them pillars. Yeah, them ottomans and everything, holding him up. Islam, you there, grand man?
Yeah, don't let me go. Islam.
Islam.
Praise to Allah and the Prophet Noble Dwali. I say much honor to Noble Dwali for bringing us as Moorish American nationals everything that it takes to save a nation. Our own government, our own flag, our own history, our own constitutional laws, Holy Quran, questionnaire, everything. Well, we are so blessed. That's the reason we have those stations. And we address each other as divine ministers, angels of Allah. We are just blessed. And that's another reason why it is that it makes this chapter so magnanimous that we have. You can't separate chapters, They're there, all of them are there to do the same thing. So when you speak on a particular measure, it brings forth a particular bloodline or vessel, or it just helps you to breathe forth from the heavenly plane that you are angelic. This is really what it boils down to. And it's just an honor and a blessing, Lord, to be able to say Islam to you, brothers and sisters. Islam to that which has already happened. Islam to that which is coming forth. And it's just an honor and a blessing, Lord. I am so pumped up, And when you see little simple things, that Prophet brought to, like the circle 7. You got the circle with the 7 in the center and Allah right there. What more? Come on, sign of something for men of understanding. If you don't understand that, you ain't got no understanding. So it's an honor and blessing to see the circle 7, to know that you are the circle 7. Why? Because you are an angel. You are an angel of the great God that was sent to bring a particular message from the great God that you can hand it to all the people of the earth. It doesn't matter about what tongue or language they speak. It doesn't matter. You're going to speak to them anyway. So it's an honor, bless them, Lord. Woo. Islamism without a schism. Peace and blessings.
Islamism, grand man. You know we gonna hold you up. Islam, man. Goodness gracious. It's an honor to be able to stand on the shoulders, of a giant like our grand national chairman. And the tribe of endurance, or the shoulders in plural, shall I say. For all the work that you all have done. We're gonna keep giving y'all flowers. Goodness gracious. I wish a member would. But let us call forth our national grand sheik, Dr. Serapis Amin Rael. Islam, you there, grand man?
How about now?
Oh yeah, we hear you with divine ears, and it's all clear.
We want to ride this commute all the way to where the party's going on at. It's nice. At this time, we have a party, and we definitely salute the angels, those angelic beings in our midst, that we've been fortunate enough to come across on this day's journey and bear witness to the glories and the wonders of which they bring and to us to be our gift of understanding. We want to give a lot of praise for creating us and putting us in a special way where we can receive mutual help and obligations, that which we need to be afoot in this daily walk as we continue to bridge up our Father's making and bring forth justice, mercy, love, and right, and to give our brothers and sisters a sense of worthiness, beautiful consort. We say that the more is sufficient and the more is humble, the more is therefore happy in his present state, and to see his brothers and sisters with their glee in their eyes and the sparkle gives us the sign that all is well. And truly, we know that you're well, and we praise the Lord for you. Keep growing and showing and knowing that you're the best, that you are the ones who came to this earth plane to aid and assist brother man who had been sick sometime before your arrival. Aid and assist your brother. Aid and assist each other. Aid and assist your brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, the family, the Morris family. Praise the Lord for you. January 15, 1929, Lordy for the prophet. Read in every meeting. I hereby inform all sisters they must send all radical state speeches while the work in the homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Don't let your cause here being to cause confusion. And remember, your cause for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will severe consequences. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice then will take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens who overleaps influence towards the profit all the government on blind movement, just be. They are just deeds. All true morals will and must obey the law. Obey thou to live by their prophet. They lose confidence in their prophet. They should turn in their card and budget. These weren't interpreted Islam. This major picture close upon the active about the man, Constitution, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go in peace, boys. Much love to you. Long live, boys, America, Islam.
Peace, love, and love from New York City.
Grand class, Dr. Shaheed. Grand class, as always, we love you more.
Great class, Dr. Shaheed. Gratitude, everyone.
Islam more. Islam.
Dr. Shaheed, good class, brother.
Peace and love, Moors. We love you with love and divinity.
Islam. Peace and love.
The best is yet to come.
Great class, Dr. Shaheed.
See y'all Moors in Sunday school tomorrow from us the guys and the guiders of the nation of Rye.
No longer being recorded.
Islam.
Love you, Moors.
Peace and love, tribe. We love you more. Peace and love. All right. I want to give honors to our Moors out there in the Facebook world as well. Good brothers, you know, Noble Brian L, Born Dog, Brother Gabriel. We want to give honors to you, Facebook user, Muff T. We know who you is. Keep holding that demonstration up there. You know, Brother Arneal Bay, want to give honors to you as well, family. You know, and honors to all of our family out there, man. Everything that y'all do. Powerful, powerful. It's all love, man. We're going to keep it coming. We're going to keep it Rotarian. So, Islam. Peace. See y'all in the next session.